One. That's right. Here I am. Hey, how y'all doing? I hope everything is going good in your neck of the woods. I hope things have been, the sun has been shining. I know it's been kind of hot in a lot of places. The temperatures have been up, and all kind of things have been going on. Just want to remind you, if you haven't seen it recently, I've made a few posts in the last couple of hours, starting earlier this morning and then going on to this afternoon and this evening. And today, I am actually taking a reflection of the Passion2Profits TV dream stream. And the reason I'm doing this is a number of things. I've had a few guests that, for whatever reason, maybe they've had a conflict or things have changed. I think things have changed. Have you seen people out and about a lot more lately? If you have, leave a comment, put a like, do something, share. Tell me what you've been thinking about in reference to that. Because I think that people have decided that this time of the day, they're busy, they're out and about, they have other things to do. And so I have consistently seen in the last 3 weeks a number of people, having a conflict with the time schedule. And so, again, I'm still keeping it from 7 to 8. My goal is not to only be with my friends on the Facebook page and those people that know me here in this space of YouTube and LinkedIn, but it's actually going to be expanded. And that's about to happen after the 15th. And so in my mind, I don't think I'll just be talking in my own time zone, number one, because I'll be talking to people all over the world. A couple of weeks ago, I had Pix Jonathan there, and she was from Australia. A few weeks before that, I had the Forbos sisters, and they were from Cameroon, Africa. And so just recently, I've run into a few people that's from other places in the world because I'm now finally expanding my network, to expand this idea. Originally, I wasn't sure if it would stick, if anybody would be interested, or how that would be. And I found out that people really like it. And it's a lot of people watching the replay. So I'm getting some analytics from the replay, and I really have to pay attention to that. Now, again, 7 p.m. is kind of in a sweet spot for the day because it's not the end of the night, but it's not the beginning of the day. It's kind of like that middle part of the evening. But a lot of people start, getting dinner and things of that nature. So I'm okay with that. And if you have a comment about what would work best as far as time is concerned on your idea and your end, just put that in a comment. Comment, like, put it in the, wherever you can see an area that you can actually, input some information. I'll go ahead and do that. Now, if you're on my Facebook page, unfortunately, you were on the wrong page because you need to come to the Passion to Profit TV page. A lot of times I have to make that announcement to let people know to come to the Passion to Profit TV page because that's where this is actually being broadcast. Maybe in the future, I might be able to do it on all 5 platforms at the same time. And I think that's probably where I'm headed towards. And I think I am. I'm pretty sure. But the other thing that was great news for this week is actually the idea that I may be on our local community channel through Comcast television. And that is exciting. And then I got a call today from one of my potential clients. We plan to do business in the next 2 weeks. And they were talking about being on a network that has over 3 million views on a regular basis. And on that particular channel, I would just come in on whatever my regular, broadcast time is and actually be right in the flow with 3 million viewers at that same time, like right at that moment. So that sounds really powerful. So this message of passion around, what you love to do and profiting, figuring out a profit from it is really, really important. So I think this is really great because see, when you have passion around, the thing that you do, it doesn't always pay, right? And I mentioned this today, but I want to say this to this audience that you can have a lot of passion for something, but that don't mean that you're going to make money doing it. So you have to be careful for getting excited so much about your passion. But I do believe you need to have a passion for whatever it is that you get involved with. If you start a small business on the side and you don't have something that just guides you and moves you, and you don't have the skills or the know-how to get things done, then what you can wind up doing is getting yourself in a situation where you're just not successful at that business. And so we want to invite you to embrace your passion around that thing that can actually bring you a profit. And that was the reason why I started Passion2Profits TV. Now, in a reflection, which is what I'm doing today, is I'm just going back and reflecting. The start of this, my first two people were Marlin Davis and Rob House, right? And Rob House, positive brother, really into positivity and fun. He does really good with lyrics and things of this nature. But what he talked about is this idea that you need to have a life of fulfillment, right? A life of fulfillment means that you should be working on doing something where your dream is involved. And what we shared last week, I had Lydia Rue on, and Lydia talked about how you can put your feelings and your emotions into your dream experience, your dream board experience. Like, you picked a house, but why did you pick that house? What is it about that house? Is it just that it looked cool? Or like, what's going to emanate from that house? What kind of person you need to be? What kind of person will you need to be in order to inhabit that house? See, if you have a dream board of a house with somebody, living all nice, but you're angry and ornery and negative, you may be setting yourself up for failure. All right. So do you have the skills and do you have the know-how to get it done, to put it together, the idea of how am I going to make this happen, right? And a lot of times that's where people spend a lot of energy. Well, I want to encourage you to not spend so much energy on the how. Because if you listen to me, you heard me say, Jack Canfield talks about this. If you commit to the what, the how shows up. And last week I was talking about this idea of understanding your what so you can clarify your why. If you're trying to clarify why on what, you got to have a what first. It's like, hey, I want to build a skyscraper. Okay, now that I know what you want to do, why do you want to build a skyscraper? And that's when you get deeper down into it. And then when you understand that why as to the what, now you can communicate that better with people, and you know how to market it and promote it better to the people so that they want to be a participant of this beautiful skyscraper. But if you don't have that all together, then you're running into problems. So that's part of the know-how. That's part of the understanding of how it works, right? The idea that you know how to, manipulate and make these things work. And when I say manipulate, I'm talking about managing things, not, overcoming things by negativity, not that type of manipulation. So we had great shows over the last couple of months. Now I'm looking at the fourth month. I can't believe it. I mean, yes, I can believe it. I can believe it. Strike that. Cancel. I can believe it, because what I had in my mind was even bigger than this, right? Now today, I released this morning that I actually updated and moved some things around and updated my studio. So I have a whole new wall that I'm using right now and a couple of other things. And, off the camera, you have some other equipment and stuff like that. And the goal for that is to make sure that I'm in an environment that is really conducive for where we are in the times today. We're producing things now from behind the scenes, right? We're producing things now from, a COVID situation where everything is done virtually. But at the same time, I want to make sure that I provide good, solid content. Whether one person shows up, zero people show up, and people watch the recording, or 10,000 people show up, it really doesn't matter to me how many people show up. What matters to me is that when they hear the information, they're able to take some actions and start working on their own dream. I call myself the dream coach. So if you don't know me, my name is Dwayne Ross. I'm the author of the book, No More Crumbs from the Table. You can see that up here. And that's the new cover that's coming out soon. And upon its release, I'll be doing some workshops and I'll be taking you through a number of different things. I have a financial summit that we're about to embark on as well. And we'll be talking about these principles that are in the earth. You know, the principle of understanding, you know, how does a belief get supported? You know, what is your morning ritual? What kind of things do you do in order to stay focused on the dream that you have? What kind of engagement do you get from your customer? How are you promoting your business? You know, I'm bringing in people who have the insights to all these different things, because you're at home and you now have a opportunity to craft out exactly what you want. You have the ability to now slow down a little bit and think about your dream. You have the capacity now to take some time and actually visualize exactly what you want. So let's take a moment and really think about this, right? The book is called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. That was the book, right? And all through the book, every single chapter says there's a secret. There's a secret. There's a secret. And if you go through the whole book, you're like, what is this secret? And then Ms. Brown came out later on and she released The Secret. And when The Secret came out, people were like, what is this? And people in the church were kind of like, oh, wait a minute, we can't do that, right? But the reality was, it was the law of attraction. Now, the law of attraction works just like gravity works, right? If gravity says what goes up, right, has to come down, and it's a law in the earth, right? But then there's another law that can supersede that law. And that law is the law of lift. As a person that worked on aircraft, I can tell you that a plane could be totally derailed by a few little things that's on the wings that allow the lift to actually happen, right? And so by physics, enough speed and inertia going forward, right? It pushes through, and then the law of lift starts lifting that particular thing up, right? And that defies the law of gravity. So there are rules and laws that also are coming into play when it comes to you and I, on how we think about things. And so I had Lydia last week talk about this dream. You know, go back to the first show again. Rob talked about mattering. Like, how do you make sure that at the end of your life, you were fulfilled, that you had a fulfillment? And then throughout the time, 2 weeks ago, I actually had Pix Jonathan, and she talked about working on it after dark, after hours, like working on your dream after hours. So if you're working on a regular job, sometimes you try to figure out, when do I have time to work on this idea? And you need to be able to sit down and focus. Well, while you're focusing, guess what? That law is still happening out there, right? And so we have to do what's even in the Bible. For some of you guys that follow the Bible says you're supposed to capture those thoughts, bring them into subjection. You know, certain thoughts, you can't just let them willy-nilly be out all over the place. And so there's a scripture and there's an adage, and it says, as a man thinketh, so is he or she, right? So These are principles in the earth, and the law of attraction can override negative thoughts. Or actually, it comes into agreement with negative thoughts. So if you're thinking on negative, you can attract that negative. Just as much if you're thinking on positive, you can attract positive. And so the idea of think and grow rich or think and get rich is all about how you're thinking. What are you thinking right now? What is dominating your mindset? So as we move forward with the Passion to Profits TV, the goal will be to bring more people in to talk about this idea of mindset when it comes to what you really, really, really want. You know, I've made a statement and a declaration that I'm dedicating the next quarter of my life to what I believe now I should have probably been working on before. And that is taking that dream and idea that I had to help thousands and thousands of people realize their potential by discovering their talent, their ability, and their gift, and putting it to work in the earth. That is my primary function right now. I'm doing those things. And one way for me to be able to do that is I have to get free from my regular job, right? So I started looking at financial peace, financial ways that I can have multiple streams of income coming in from a number of different sources. And so I've been setting the groundwork for this financial summit. I've been setting the groundwork for this type of company, the companies that I like travel. I love to travel. I have to travel in order to go see my grandchildren. You probably want to go travel some cool places, right? You want to do some cool stuff. So why not do what Warren Buffett did? See, here's what Warren Buffett did. And this is what made him so powerful when it comes to multi-millionaires, into the billions, right? He said that he would invest in the things that he uses on a regular basis, on the things that he do, the things that he does. So if I like to travel, should I not invest in a travel company? That might be one of the best options for me. And again, my mindset is still working, right? And my belief system is out there. And the law of attraction is working. So I started thinking about what would I do and how can I make that happen? And two things happened in the last, I would say, 2 weeks. One is my financial company announced 3 days ago or 2 days ago that we now have access to a travel plan at a discount, which is cool. But a week before that, I had a friend of mine send me a message that I didn't read all of the message, and I only looked at part of it. But this morning, I actually was able to sit in and listen to this travel company that is speaking the exact thing that I said to my family. I said, I want to travel at a discount so we can go all together. Because of the money I save, we can now put that money into buying somebody else a ticket and we can travel together and we can go to nice places, real resorts and stuff like that. And I know people are like, yeah, but COVID. I traveled recently to Las Vegas in March. Was it March, April? In April. No, May. In May. And it wasn't, you know what? It wasn't even May. Let's scratch that. It was actually June, right? And so right around my birthday, that's right. It's around 27th, 25th. So I flew and it was great. They had safety features involved. They had all this kind of stuff. So what I'm saying to you is don't look at the condition of what's happening right now. Look at where you're going, what the condition may be in the future. And here's the thing. People are traveling right now. They're going to exotic places at a discount. They're getting massive savings because the travel industry is trying to, keep everything going, keep the things afloat. Maybe you might not get on a boat with 15,000 people, but you might still get on a plane with maybe 2 or 3, in your area space. And depending on what type of flight you take, you can request that. Now, of course, you have to do your due diligence. But the idea is the same. So the universe and God conspires together through these thoughts, And I brought it to me, and I was like, dang, I wasn't really like focused on it, but I did have a genuine focused thought about it. And so it made me really pay attention because, sometimes we can have our focused thought on what we don't want. And the more we focus on what we don't want, the more that shows up. So be careful. You shouldn't be focused on I don't want any more. I don't want any debt. I don't want any debt. I don't want any debt. It should be focused on I'm financially free. I'm financially free. I'm financially free. I have financial solvency. You see? So it's how you say the words too. Because remember, I told you picture containers. That's what words are. When you say certain words, certain things come to pass in the brain. The brain doesn't say ELEPHANT. It says elephant, and it's a picture of an elephant, and it might be Dumbo, right? I've been done seen about everything that I seen an elephant fly. All right, so that's part of it. The other thing is not only are we looking at the mindset, but we're looking at our belief systems. I'm going to be bringing more people in to talk about these belief systems. How you believe matters, right? How you believe can actually make a difference on whether you stand or you sit. If you came into a room with a chair and it looked all kind of raggedy and it looked like it was about to fall, would you just sit in it? Most people won't. They'll test it, they'll push on it, they'll check it, they'll see first, and then they might sit a little bit tentatively in it, and then they'll scoot in until they finally settle in and say, yeah, okay, now I think it's going to hold my weight. But if, right off the bat, the belief system will say, no, that won't hold my weight. I'm not going to sit in it. And so you would have to override that in order to sit there. Now, I have a thing called the ABCs of disputation that will help you because it helps you look at the challenges that you have in your life and you dispute where did they come from? How did you get this challenge? Who gave you this information? Is your information clear? I was listening to a gentleman, Dr. Gray, I believe, and he was saying how most of the things that you remember are half true. Most of the things that you remember are half true because what happens is you fill in the blanks from person to person to make sure that your dynamic story stays dynamic, right? Now, of course, there are certain stories where you can remember vividly exactly what happened, and I'm not discounting that. But a lot of things that happen in our life sometimes will bring in a little bit more just to make it more dynamic, change the word just a little bit. But that's how you help other people as well. Because one of the things about this is the Passion2Profits TV Dream Stream is supposed to also help you with your challenges. See, some of you are challenged with income right now. There are 30 million unemployed individuals right now across this nation. 30 million. So I know there's someone that's going to see this and they're going to think, man, if I just ABC. And I'm giving them a couple of options. Maybe you could start a My Econ business. Maybe you can start your own travel network. Become an actual licensed travel agent, right? Or maybe you can sell products in a pet store. I have an online pet store, which I never thought I would have an online pet store. I don't even have a pet. But what I did see is a product that I could use that they have. And I thought if I could sell some of those products or put that product out there on my website and people get it because it's a needed product that helps with spills, especially when you're dog training new dogs and they potty all over the place and you want to clean it up. You don't have to have a special mop or nothing. You could just get you some stuff. You sprinkle it on there. It's called Wet Away. And then you just sweep it right into the trash. That's if it's water-based. I found out that today because I actually did a demonstration with oil to see how well it worked. And it worked 88%. I'm saying 80-something%. Wasn't 100, wasn't 90, but it almost got up to oil, which was cool because it wasn't even supposed to do oil. It was supposed to do liquid-based things that are water-based, right? But anyway, that might be your thing. Maybe you like investments and you want to do some investments. You know, I joined a network of businesses, and these are businesses, Black-owned businesses all across the nation under the Stan Matthews moniker. And under that, I've met so many business people that life insurance, health insurance, car insurance, taxes, uh, hair, nails, yes, the standards, but even people building actual companies that build houses and build, you know, complexes and things of this nature. So that is available, all right, and it's pretty interesting because I didn't know that was available. I had no idea. Okay, but all of these different businesses are in place to help us so that we don't have to look at just our 9 to 5. What they talk about is your 9 to 5 is your seed. That's all. It's your seed so that you can use it to go and create something. Some of you are very creative. And because you're so creative, you have an opportunity to do something with that creation. But if you don't have the money, you tend to say, well, I don't have the money to do this and that. You know, I can't buy me a really cool camera, even though you know you're a really good photographer. Right? So these are all the things that we're going to be reflecting on a little bit more and going forward with when it comes to Passion to Profits TV. You know, I had someone, Marlin Davis, who was a cancer survivor. Now, the sad thing was her and her mom had cancer similar times. Her mom did not make it. She transitioned. But Marlene is still here. And Marlene talked about eating raw vegetables and fixing your own meals from your own garden. And she talked about hydroponics and how you can actually, grow your own vegetables right in your backyard using just water, not even dirt, right? And it's so cool. She had this really cool, it was like you put the seeds in there and it stands up in the yard and you actually can grow your vegetables right out of that particular pod. And so that's really important because maybe that's something that you like. And she talked about this. She's a representative for a product that she sells these gummies, right? That has all the vitamins and nutrients and vegetables in them for your kids who don't like eating vegetables. And, that was powerful. So I don't know what it is that gets you excited, but I want you to bring your passion to us. I want you to stir up your passion if you're not sure. And we want to provide you with some opportunity for some small business, for you to have something that you can join or you can do that's going to make you create you another stream of income. And then, of course, some of you have stories and some of you have things that you can help other people, right? If you think about who can you help? Who's out there, we call it your avatar, right? Your customer that you can actually help. Maybe you want to walk dogs. I don't know. Maybe you want to be a dog whisperer or massage them. You know what I mean? Maybe you want to watch children and you want to have a home daycare. A couple of maybe a month now, again, one of my guests, it was a couple, right? We had a team, and what they're doing is they're showing college students how to invest in real estate in the area of their college. So if they go off to college in some state, how can they find real estate in that state? And most of them are HBCUs. And how could they now buy a piece of property and become a landlord in that particular area, and then give discounts, have rental property set up for these college students. They become the landlord, and now they don't have to worry about grabbing a job or anything like that because now they have a piece of property and these other kids are coming there to pay rent, and it works for everybody. It's a win-win-win solution. And they're teaching this to our young people who are graduating high school and going off to some of these colleges. Now, some of them, they said they're not opening until 2021, but that doesn't stop you from going and checking out the landscape, checking out the city, looking for, a good piece of property that you can purchase. And they teach you exactly what to do, right? So that was a powerful episode, and you guys can check out the replay That's at the Passion to Profits TV. Just go scroll through, and then you also will find it on YouTube at this Discover Your Tag. That's my channel, Discover Your Tag, and you can find it there. But these are the type of people that I brought on the show. I had Tammy. Tammy was Get Raw with Tammy. Now, Tammy, she is a go-getter. She's out in California, and she's a raw vegan. She doesn't have any, she doesn't do meat byproducts or anything like that, or anything to do with dairy, etc. And she talked about how strong she's able to stay, and how she works out, and she even has people who use weights and all this kind of stuff, and they never touch all those other products. They're only on strictly raw diets. And Tammy came on and she showed you how to take care of your body better, how to do better with this temple. Now, I'm not there again. At one point in time, I was totally no meat, and I was not doing meat. But I will tell you, I lost a little bit of weight, but it wasn't about the weight. It was about being lighter and healthier and sleeping better and things of that nature. And I will tell you that Tammy talked about this whole idea of what an animal goes through on the farm, because she grew up on the farm. And that's some insights that a lot of us don't have because we're in the city. You know, I'm from the city. I'm a city boy, you know. I grew up in the city. I went to the suburbs for a little while, but, you know, I was from the city. I pretty much knew how to go back and forth, right? And so these things you want to know, right? So some of you are dealing with struggles and challenges and things that you're going to be able to help people overcome by your story, about the things that you do. So what I also have is the Write Your Story course, right? Now that I'm taking it online, it's the self-publishing course, and that is going to be another stream of income. So I have the book out there, and that's residual. So, you know, it's been cool. One time I got 3 checks in the mail at the same time. I love that. I got a check from Amazon. I got a check from the travel company. And this was before I was in another travel company. And then I got a check from the speaking engagement that I was in. So I had 3 checks come in on the same day. It was phenomenal to feel that freedom of knowing that I had something coming from more than one place, and I wasn't dependent on that one thing. And I want to get you guys together with this. We're going to have a summit, and Keith Tucker, I brought Keith Tucker in twice already because he is the financial guy. He got rid of $100,000 worth of debt. Let me say that slow. $100,000 of debt, personal debt, in 1 year. Cleared it out and raised his credit score over 800. That is a person you might want to talk to, because see, some people say you don't need credit, but in order to invest and do other things, sometimes you want to use other people's money, and that's how you do it. You are able to access a larger amount of money than you might have in your own bank, so you can go to these places and, you know, participate that way. Well, he teaches this thing about how you set yourself up, and through my econ, we partnered, and he's coming back, and we're going to take days. We're going to have a summit where it's going to be multiple days, and bringing in other people too, to talk about taxation and why you want to only pay what you have to. And most of us are paying way more than we should because we're not getting all our deductions. And if you don't have a small business, you're not getting any deductions that would be related to your small business. Think about it: your cell phone, the lights, this studio, my clothes, you know, what I wear. If I could make this like my brand, which it is, now this, anytime I get a new one or I take it to the dry cleaners, this is 100% in my business side. It's not part of my regular everyday life. You know, I get to write this part off because it's what I use for my business. And I'm getting ready to get some shirts that's going to have like little emblems on it, you know, for my DwayneRoss.com. And when I do that, I'm advertising. Hey, isn't that cool? I mean, think about it. When you see Tiger Woods out there with a Nike shirt on, he's advertising for Nike, and Nike pays him to wear that shirt. Well, why not pay you to wear your own shirt? Why not pay yourself to drive that car as a CEO versus driving that car as a regular W-2 employee? See, when you drive that car as a CEO of your own company, it changes everything that happens with that car, right? Those miles, they move from one side to the other side, and now they're in this line of expenses for your business. And when you go out and talk to a client and you say, oh, we need to meet in Hawaii, guess what? When you go to meet their friend in Hawaii and you sit down for business in the middle of all that other stuff that you do, because you went there to do business and to pursue a profit in your business, now that trip and most of that trip can be now part of your business deduction. You know, somebody said this once. She said, it was Dr. DeGroy. She said, Dr. Joy, because we always mess her name up. It's DeGroy, it's French. But anyway, French Creole. And she said there were men who would take their secretary, not their wives, on these trips all around the world. And the reason they took their secretary is because they can get a write-off for the secretary. They could not get a write-off for their wife because their wife wasn't part of the business. Isn't that crazy? But that's exactly how the law is set up. So my ecom shows you how to take advantage of these rules so that you can play the game in a different way. And we want to play the game to win, right? If you're going to play Monopoly, which, you know, I'm not a real, fan, they say don't be a fan. I'm not really high in on the whole Monopoly because I don't understand why anybody want to play a game where you become like the czar of it all and everybody else is bankrupt. I didn't think that when I was younger. I thought it was cool to bankrupt everybody. But as I got older, I thought, well, then the game is over. So that's where we're at in this nation, right? We bankrupt the nation, bankrupt the companies, force everybody out of their houses. People will be, losing their mortgages and all this kind of stuff if we don't make some decisions from Congress. And, and I agree with this guy yesterday who was on the radio. He said, I'm not worried about the president, no, not any longer. I'm really worried about the Senate and Congress because the deal is these people have been making decisions for generations, right? Because some of them, it's been them and then their son, and then they had the same mindset and nothing's changed for years and years and years and years. So it doesn't even matter if it's Democrat or Republican, and then they talked about the electoral college and how that plays into the picture. And, so it was all this stuff. But these are the things that impact us on a regular basis. So we got to play that game the right way, right? Because that game, Monopoly, is set up for certain people, and then after that, everybody else is bankrupt. You put them out on the street with nothing, and you have no game anymore. I'd rather play a game where we're educating and moving around. We're still making money, and we're all winning. And I can make a lot of money, and they could not make a lot of money, but that doesn't put them out the game. So we got to come up with a better game. Anyway, that's for another day, right? So these are things that we're talking about. So the other part of Passion to Profits TV that I'm reflecting on is how do you show up? Like, what is your passion? I said this before, what gives you so much juice? What stirs you up in the middle of the night and you get your pad out, right? You get your pad out and you're like writing in the middle of the night. Has that ever happened to you? Where you wrote out an entire song, or you wrote out an entire poem, or you wrote out an entire business plan? Where is that now? What have you done with it? What have you allowed it to become? Is it dust in the wind? I will be doing an entire program. It's going to be an entire program, the Shift Your Focus program, where I'm going to take you step by step by step through the mindset change and the actions that you're doing, right? Because I talked about the disputation. When you have that, that limiting belief, because remember, you can't do anything without a belief to support it. I don't care what it is. You cannot have a thing that you take action on without a belief to support it. But sometimes you have to challenge that belief because you got to say, where did it come from? Right? So you got the action, you got the belief, you got the challenge. And if you dispute it, now you're trying to figure out, okay, where did I get this from? Who told me this limiting belief about myself? Maybe you told yourself, right? So we're going to talk about that self-talk, right? That clarity of thought. Like, how do you get clarity on what to do when you're really good at a lot of things? You know, I could talk to you about procrastination. I could talk to you about getting involved with things that you looked up and you're like, man, I'm doing this, but I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm not doing what I love to do. I'm not doing what I've been born to do. See, I want to stay inside my purpose. So I've been choosing things that's still inside my purpose, the things that I love to do. I love to travel. I'm doing travel. I love to have financial peace in my life. I'm doing financial stuff, right? I'm involved with the pet area only because I have friends and I know people who have pets, and I know 2 coworkers who in the last 60 days, 30 days actually, just brought new pets home, pet parents, as they call it. So I know there's an opportunity there, and I found out that for every household in America, the statistics says there's 2.5 pets. That's crazy, phenomenal amount of so if there's 30,000 people, there's almost what, 3, 6, 9, 90? I mean, if there's 30 million, there's 90 million, you know, pets out of work. You know, they're hanging out with their out of work pet parent. It's crazy, right? It's a lot of people, a lot of animals out there. And people are treating their dogs and cats like they're children now. And the dogs and cats are going to the hospital just like people. They have rheumatoid arthritis. They have cataracts in their eyes. They're having heart trouble. They're having high blood pressure. They're having hip and joint problems. They can't jump. They can't walk. I've seen a couple of people holding their dog going for a walk. That did not make sense to me. You're walking your dog in your arms on a leash, but because the dog is at the point now where his or her legs are not working like they should. So shouldn't we be giving them some better products so that they could be healthier? And so I saw an opportunity. So I was like, okay, I need to do like Warren Buffett said. What are you using? Are you investing in the things that you use or the things that you see great use for? When he started Geico, people don't even know he owns Geico. They don't even know that he owns Geico, right? But he saw a need right there and he fulfilled it. And that's how business is, right? You see a need and then you say, okay, how can I fulfill it? How can I fulfill that need? And when I fulfill that need, how can I do it in a unique way that positions me in the marketplace so I can have a better income? So these are the things that we want to do with Passion to Profits TV. And so I'm inviting you to come along with the ride. I'm inviting you to, you know, just be connected to what we're doing. And I appreciate you for sharing and liking and commenting and liking us on Facebook. You know, you guys have come to the Passion2Profits TV page and you liked it. I really appreciate it. So there's a couple other things that we're going to talk about, and then I'm going to be out of your way. But here's the thing, you know, can you profit from your passion? Like, what is considered a profit for you? You know, for me, I've come to the conclusion that I say, okay, what I want is I want to be financially free, right? So I'm looking at things and I'm like creating things and I'm connecting with things where they can help me pay off a certain bill all the way off. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this thing. And when that money comes in, it's strictly so I can get rid of this particular bill. And then when that's done, I can apply that money to something else. Now, this is a little bit deviation from the snowball method that Dave Ramsey talks about, but it's similar, right? Because you take all your bills, you put them on one line, and you line them all up, and then you put them in priority order, and then you say, okay, I got enough money to pay you, you, and you. Everybody below this line, you can't get paid. I got to, you know, continue until I get everybody paid. But the other thought is that if I can create this stream that really, you know, zeroes in on my car note, boom, I can get rid of that $20,000 debt that I'm servicing, right? What would I do with the money from a $20,000 service of a debt? What will you do? How can you use that more effectively? Would you buy another piece of property? Would you buy an Airbnb? Would you set up one? You know, There's so many different things that you can do. There's a guy I know right now. He sells computers to young people for $100, $100 for a full laptop, ready to go, installed, Word, and all that is all in Microsoft Windows, programs is installed. $100, right? It's a nonprofit organization that is helping to bridge the gap in underserved communities when it comes to technology. That was a brainchild that he had, and he went through the process, and now he has a thriving company. Like I said earlier, there's another company. They're going into rural development areas, and they're actually building better housing for underserved and underrepresented populations, which is really, really, really cool. Because unfortunately, the people who had the worst time in all of this stuff is the underserved communities, and they happen to be people of color. Right? No, they don't happen to be, but there's a bigger story behind that, but this is a different show. Right? So we're doing that by exposing these businesses to you. So here's what I want you to do. I need your help. I need some assistance. I want you to leave a comment. I want you to talk about what is it that you want to see. What would you like to see? What kind of guests do you want me to bring on? Like, who do you want to see connect with me? I feel that if we work together, I could craft out something that was 100% what I need and 100% of what you need. And it works out really great. All right. So I want you to take some time to think out, all right, here's what I like to know, like a banker. I want to have a Black-owned bank executive on my show. That's what I want, right? I want a credit union, a Black-owned credit union executive on my show. I want one of the 1%ers of the nation who are African American to come on my show. These are the 1% that live in the top income bracket of the world. I want one of them to come on my show. I want to expose everyday people to the amazing people that are out there that are taking their passions and actually creating profits. And some of them, unfortunately for some, they have their money only because of their children's children, right? They are blessed based on their grandma or great grandfather passing away. And now, like a Carnegie or a Ford, their wealth is built on their family wealth history. I'm not talking about that guy, but somebody from Jeff Bezos' family, that would be different because he just became that guy, right? The multi-billionaire, right? Number one income earner in the world, right? So those are the kind of people I want to expose you to. And then some of you need systems, right? You need to know, how do I do better when it comes to marketing my services? Well, I want to bring in some people who know about marketing. I got a young man who he has a company that teaches media marketing, social media marketing, how to get yourself in front of people, get your product in front of eyeballs, right? And now it's more critical than ever to get and use these systems that are out here. I want to bring him in and let him share with you, how do you do a Facebook ad? How do you set up a campaign? How do you engage your client? How do you even find the people that want to do business with you as a business owner? I want to bring him in and talk about these things, right? I met someone who has a nonprofit who helps young ladies who are trafficked get out of trafficking and get into housing and then get into the community and change their life, rearrange their life. All right, Gladys said, I like to see someone who can help with home renovations info and instructions on purchasing products. Okay, I will look into that, Miss Gladys. I think that's amazing, right? I'm gonna show your comment out there because I think people need to know, right? Gladys Cherry, appreciate it. All right, I will look for someone in this area. I think this is a good thing, home improvement. Maybe how you might do it yourself or with someone, they could come in and actually help you really, manage that and get the instructions on purchasing products, because that's a big deal. You go out to buy a water heater and you don't know nothing about water heaters. You might buy something you really don't need, and you can't count on the salesperson, because what are they there for? to sell you something, right? They're not always going to be there to get you the right thing. They tell you that, but they tell you that it's got to win for them and it's got to win for you, and they want the highest commission, right? So yes, if there's anybody else out there and want to see something, I really want to hear from you, and I appreciate you, Ms. Gladys, for sharing that information. All right, so we're coming down to the last 7 minutes. I think I got about 7 minutes, right? Yeah, I got about 8 minutes left on this show, and I want to kind of get to two little things that I had made a note for. Let me check my note real quick just to make sure I have that. All right, okay. So I actually had talked about this. So the other thing about Passion to Profits TV, about bringing in these different people and making sure I get the right quality people. I have an opportunity to be on a network television channel. I think I spoke about this 2 weeks ago or something. And it's so crazy because I've been really thinking on it. I wrote it down, and all of a sudden an opportunity is present, right? And I'm going to find out more about it on Tuesday night, which is coming up. And I'm excited about that. So what I might have to do, though, is they may not have an hour slot for my show. So what I'd have to do is whittle it down to a 27-minute show. And so I still want you to call in. I still want you to bring, comment and your questions to come in and things of that nature. There'll be an intro and an outro. There'll be a voiceover, and there'll be this really cool jazzy intro, et cetera, about the show. And then I'll probably be in a better set. I'm not sure. I'll probably start from here. But I made the post today. This is my studio now, but there's a dream studio in my mind, and I believe I'll be in that dream studio, and it won't be long, right? And so what I want from you is I want your information. I want you to help guide this process, because I want to make sure that my show hits the need of the people. Thank you, Dwayne. Super excited for you. I appreciate you. I want to make sure that when I'm talking about stuff, I'm not just jabber-jawing for myself, right? Self-entertainment, but I'm talking about these things that'll help you with your profit potential, that will help you with how are you going to make a profit? How are you going to get into that place where you have money working for you while you're sleeping? You have money coming to you while you're vacationing with your family. You have money coming to you while you're doing something else, and you don't have to work and exchange dollars for time. This dollar for time lifestyle was created out of a slave and mechanical industrial time frame. We are no longer in the industrial age. We're in the information age. And we need to take advantage of these systems that are out there so that we can make money. Today I was, I'm getting ready from this show, I'm getting ready to host a 30-minute intro about the Write Your Story course, right? And I'm going to be sharing some information about how we're moving forward with this whole, new thing. And in that, I'm going to be sharing, self-publishing is interesting, because today I met a young lady who's actually grossed $1.1 million in the last 10 years with her self-published book. $1.1 million with her self-published book. So there are people out there who are discouraged from self-publishing because somebody said, oh, you don't make any money with that. And she has an actual formula that she shared with me. And I'm looking forward to getting more information from her. And my hope is to have her on the show to talk to my authors about how to put this into play. But I will tell you this. Getting a rejection notice is one thing. Getting 3, 4, 5, and 6 rejection notices, most people want to give up after that. And so we want to make sure that you don't give up. You stay in the fight and you move forward and you produce. Just as I was saying earlier in my other thing, this book right here, now my name is Google, Amanda Goddard. She came into the class. She already had a great idea, but this is what came out of the class after that. And by her sitting under, me and understanding what I was talking about and pushing forward with her own plan and taking her thought and putting it to the side and taking the plan that we talked about forward, that was the result. I want to see those kind of results for people. So that's where I do my last thing, which is the Write Your Story course. That's what I have a lot of passion for. So I'm going to be bringing authors on as well. So you will see authors who've accomplished their book on the show. And then there'll be other authors coming on the show who's finished something that impacts our lives, similar to what Lydia did last week. All right. So I am wrapping up. I want to say thank you, Ms. Gladys. Thank you. Super excited for you. Thank you, Mr. Nain Barlow, for that information. And yes, wow, that's nice. Thank you so much. Yeah, these are the things that's going on. And I appreciate you guys being with me. Thank you so much for logging in. I actually had a guest that ran into a conflict. And so, again, I said that at the top of the show. I'm seeing that happen more frequently, and that's okay. I'm probably have to double book or book two people for the show. And like I did when I first started, I had two guests instead of one, so that if one falls off, I still have another one. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to think that through. I like what's going on right now, but you guys know I'd rather have somebody else sharing platinum nuggets with you than me. I can always do that on a different platform. But on this show, I want people to talk about their passion and how they make a profit. I thank you. Please like, share, comment. What else can you do? Like, share, comment. I think that's it. All right. But we'll see you next week at 7 p.m. right here, same place, Passion2Profits TV. My name is Dwayne Ross, author of the book No More Crumbs from the Table. If you need a free consultation, go to DwayneRoss.com, and that's DWAYNEROSS.com, and get your 30-minute consultation to go over what's in your head, what's in your heart, so you can get it out so people can consume it, just like this book. Take care now. We'll see you. Have a great day.